Hello there, welcome to the news on Nepal television. I am Rosina Rai, starting with the top stories first. Bar Association urged the Prime Minister to initiate appointment of Chief Justice. PM says decision will be taken after consultation with the Constitutional Council. COVID-19 claims one more life for the second day in a row. Health Ministry directs all hospitals to be prepared for another outbreak. North Korea fires ballistic missile near Pyongyang just after Japan's lift evacuation alert in Hokkaido, citing error over the missile warning system. And 10-man Real Madrid beat Chelsea 2-0 in the Champions League. Milan take narrow lead over Napoli with a goal. Welcome back. Now we have the news in details. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal has said he will take decision on the appointment of the Chief Justice upon consultation with the members of the Constitutional Council. The Prime Minister said this during discussion with the office bearers of Nepal Bar Association this morning. The bar officials called on Prime Minister Dahal this morning and urged him to initiate process for the appointment of Chief Justice. The meeting was held at the official residence of Prime Minister in Balwatar. In the discussion, the bar officials drew the attention of Prime Minister Dahal to hold a meeting of the Constitutional Council and appoint a Chief Justice, as the Supreme Court is functioning through the acting Chief Justice since past 14 months. In the meeting, Prime Minister appreciated the role played by the Bar Association for the protection of democracy and the Constitution and for reforming the justice systems. NBA has demanded the government appoint the CG within the next 10 days. The Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority, CIAA, has filed a case against then administrative officer of Bhimdatta Municipality of Kanchanpur and other 10 people. The anti-graft body booked the administrative officer Pushkar Prasad Bhatta, Finance Officer Govinda Raj Upadhyaya and other of embezzling some 50.43 million rupees. The Commission in its charge sheets has alleged them of embezzling millions of rupees while giving contract to Bhavani Construction Private Limited to extract the river bodies and causing loss to the state coffer. We shall get back with more national updates at the side. We do have stay with us. Time for a short break. Welcome back here on Nepal Television News. Now the remaining updates. Now we have weather forecast for the day. There is a possibility of rain and thunderstorm due to the general influence of westerly winds along with local winds across the country. As per the weather report, there will be a partial change in the weather in the hilly areas of the country, including Sudur Paschim Province, Lumbini Province. According to the Weather Forecast Division of the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, there is a possibility of light rain with thunder and lightning in some places of Gandaki, Kosi and Bagmati provinces. Likewise, there is also a possibility of light snowfall in some places of high hilly and mountainous region. COVID-19 claimed one more life in Nepal for the second day in a row on Wednesday. Health Ministry reported 121 new cases of COVID-19 across the country. At present, 24 are in isolation, 13 in ICU care and 5 on ventilator support for COVID-19. The division has said it has tightened COVID-19 check along the Nepal-India border since Wednesday. Ministry of Health and Population has instructed various health facilities to remain on standby in view of increasing cases of COVID-19 in the country. The direction came as the daily graph of fresh COVID-19 cases is going up lately. Cases of mutated Omicron subvariant XBB 1.16.1 of COVID-19 found in neighboring India have been recorded lately in Nepal as well. Now we have updates from international front line. The first batch of National Front. The first batch of Chinese tourists arrived in Nepal this morning after China opened its border for its nationals to visit Nepal post-COVID. A total of 180 Chinese tourists were welcomed today with Nepali traditional folk instruments of Panche Baja and Nomati Baja. After Chinese government allowed its citizens to travel without any restriction, these guests came to Nepal on a chartered aircraft. Minister of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, Sudan Kirati, welcomed them at the Tribhuvan International Airport. Chinese ambassador to Nepal, Cheng Sang, along with other staff of Chinese embassy officials of Nepal Tourism Board, jointly welcomed them. Now we have updates from international front. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said North Korea fired one mid-range or longer ballistic missiles from near Pyongyang into the waters of the east coast of the Korean peninsula at around 7:23 a.m. local time Thursday. Japanese Defense Minister Yasukazu Hamada said the missile may have been a type of intercontinental ballistic missile ICBM, the longest range of North Korea's ballistic missiles, but that Japanese authorities were continuing to analyze details. Hamada added that the missile has landed outside of Japan's exclusive economic zone, EEZ. Meanwhile, the Japan government lifted an evacuation order for residents of the northern island of Hokkaido, saying an emergency warning system erroneously predicted that a missile launched from North Korea would fall near the island. Japan's government urged Hokkaido residents to take shelter on Thursday morning after a North Korean missile launch, but local officials later said the missile would not land near Japan's northern region. The U.S. government believes that the UN Secretary General is too willing to accommodate Russian interest. According to Fresh revelation in classified documents leaked online, the files suggest Washington has been closely monitoring Antonio Guterres. Several documents describe private communications involving Guterres and his deputy. It is the latest from a leak of secret documents which U.S. officials are scrambling to get the bottom of. The documents contained candid observation from Guterres about the war in Ukraine and a number of African leaders. One leaked document focuses on the Black Sea grain deal brokered by the UN and Turkey in July following fears of a global food crisis. It suggests that Guterres was so keen to preserve that deal that he was willing to accommodate Russia's interest. We shall get back with more international headliners at the side. We do have. Stay with us. Time for a short break again. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now we have remaining international headliners. Japan's government has announced plans to restrict exports of 23 types of semiconductor manufacturing equipment, aligning its technology trade controls with the U.S. push to curb China's ability to make advanced chips. The Economic Trade and Industry Ministry said in a press release on Friday that it will impose export controls on 6 categories of equipment used in chip manufacturing, including cleaning, deposition, lithography and etching. It did not specify China as the target of those measures, saying equipment makers will need to seek export permission for all reasons. The export restriction, which will come into force in July, are likely to affect equipment manufactured by a dozen Japanese companies such as Nikon Corp, Tokyo Electron Limited, among others. Nonetheless, Tokyo's decision comes after the US in October imposed a sweeping restriction on chip-making tool exports to China, citing concerns that Beijing planned to use advanced semiconductors to enhance its military power. Washington, however, needs Japan to Netherlands, which are key suppliers of such equipment, to join it to make those restrictions effective. Ghana is the first country to approve a new malaria vaccine that has been described as a world changer by the scientists who developed it. The vaccine, called R21, appears to be hugely effective, in a stark contrast to previous ventures in the same field. Ghana's drug regulators have assessed the final trial data on the vaccine's safety and effectiveness, which is not yet public, and have decided to use it. The World Health Organization is also considering approving the vaccine. Malaria kills about 620,000 people each year, most of them young children. To the more updates, before that, let's have a quick look into the highlights of the side. The European Space Agency ESA is set to launch a satellite to the planet Jupiter, one of the organization's most ambitious missions ever. The satellite will leave Earth on Thursday on an 8-year journey to reach the giant planet's major moons. There is good evidence that these icy worlds, Callisto, Europa, hold oceans of liquid water at depth. The ESA mission aims to establish whether the moons might also have the conditions needed to sustain life. The project is known as the Jupiter Icy Moon Explorer, or JUICE for short. JUICE is not seeking to detect life. It will not be sending back pictures of alien fish, but it could help determine whether conditions in the moon's hidden oceans have at least a chance of supporting simple microbial organisms. Now time for sports. Chelsea have it all to do if they are to advance to the Champions League semi-final after losing to holders Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Kremlin Benzema's top in his 19th goal in the competition gave Real boss Carlo the perfect start against his former club. Real Madrid struggled to add their lead before Ben Chilwell was shown a straight red card in the 59th minute for fouling Rodrigo as the Brazil forward threatened to go clean through on goal. In another match, Samuel Benacer's first half goals have AC Milan a slender advantage over Napoli in the first leg of their All-Italian Champions League quarter-final. The Algeria midfielder struck home from the edge of the area after Brahim Diaz broke superbly on the halfway line. Napoli had Andre Frank Jambu sent off in the second half and were also held by an organized Milan. Milan also came close to a second goal when Simone Jair's header bounced off on the side of the bar. World number 5 Daniil Medvedev claimed his first decade win of the year with a straight-set victory over Italy's Lorenzo Sonego to reach the third round of the Monte Carlo Masters. Medvedev, who has won 4 hardcore titles this year, beat Sonego 6-3, 6-2. Clay is not Medvedev's preferred surface, with the 27-year-old Russian seeded 3 in Monte Carlo, never having won a title on 8. Medvedev, who will play Germany's Alexander Zverev on Thursday. With this, we're at the end of this news bulletin, but before we say goodbye, quick reminders of the headlines again. 6 persons of the same village killed after a jeep met with an accident in Baitari. 4 Indian nationals killed in another accident in Sinduli. Election Commission transporting ballot papers for House of Representatives by-election starting today. By-election being held in 3 different constituencies on April 23. Russian Parliament approves online call for war. Kremlin denies it wants to speed up mobilization or end widespread draft dozing. And Manchester City takes a giant stride towards the Champions League semi-finals with 3-0 victory against Bayern Munich. This is all we have for this moment. Until our next bulletin, have a good day ahead. Namaste.